Howdy, it's Uncle Paul, and I am going back to college for real this time. Okay, so I am here on the campus of Central Texas College, and I'm out here by the pond, which is real popular. People have been coming out here. I did when I was a kid, really, to feed the ducks and the geese, and so they're used to that. So I may get swamped here by some ducks if I'm here for very long. They're everywhere on this campus. But anyway, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking some classes. Really, they're for certification. I'm not getting an actual degree, but I'm going to begin taking some hours and courses on office technology and get a office technology specialist certification. And you know, the main reason I chose to do that is because, you know, when I went into the family business after preaching, and I did that in 2008, and I ran the office. I was basically the secretary, but we had a specific way of doing things. I was taught the Belko signs way, and so you know, there's a lot of things about office work that I didn't have to do. You know, we had our own shortcuts and all that. So when we had to sell the company, when we went under in January of 2016, you know, I didn't think that I'd be able to get an office job, you know, because there was so much about offices that I didn't know, and I just opted to get a paycheck as quickly as possible, which was becoming a substitute teacher. Well, 3 years later, that's still what I'm doing. But I feel the need, you know, if I'm going to get into another office situation, or if I'm ever in a situation where I need to run my own business, you know, it would be good to have the new office technology, be up to date on all the software and everything and procedures. So, so I finally decided that's what I'm wanting to do. Since I live in Belton, this is in a neighboring town. It's gonna, you know, it would cost a good bit in fuel. I'm trying to save on that. I'm gonna do it online, and it's gonna be 3 semesters, 45 hours, and it's not that expensive. It's a junior college, so it's gonna take some time. I'm only gonna get my feet wet here starting off. I'm gonna do, I think, just 1, maybe 2 classes at the most, and because I've never done online either, and it's been a long time since I've been in school. So anyway, that's the new exciting news of what I'm doing. Looking around at all these birds is kind of making me a little bit hungry for some chicken, so I think I'll head on home and start preparing supper. Which reminds me, by the way, I cooked a couple of interesting dishes this past week.
Happy birthday to you. 21.
All right.
Well, I haven't used my food dehydrator in a good while, so I got in the mood, and since I'm wanting to use my stove, even on some of just my day hikes, I want to take my stove with me, maybe cook up some lunch. But I want it to be low carb if possible. So one of the things that I'm doing now is some ground turkey. And I seasoned the ground turkey, that's a pound, with some garlic and also some ginger and some curry powder as well. So what I'm going to add to this, I have to dehydrate, and that's riced cauliflower. Okay, 6 hours later, and I have my dehydrated ground turkey. And now I've got on here my riced cauliflower, and it's that color mostly from the turmeric, which I probably put too much, but I also put, once again, I put some garlic, but I put ginger and curry powder as well, and some salt and pepper. So got this at 135 degrees. Don't know how long it'll take, but I can't wait to get it all together and try it out. Okay, it is the next day, and I finished the riced cauliflower in like 5.5 hours, I think. It took a good while, and it was just really shriveled up small. I should have shown it to you, but I forgot. So today, this is all going to go in the same meal. Today I'm going to do mushrooms, and I've already sauteed them. I didn't cut them all in the same size, so I'm going to have to watch some of those smaller ones. And I'm probably going to use about half of that in this meal that I'm making. And then some red bell pepper. And I didn't saute that. Those are just raw. I'm going to see how those are, just raw. And I'm only going to use like half of those. So these will probably dehydrate quicker, these bell peppers. I am out here on the local trail, the Miller Springs Garden Center. First time out here since I got back from the Appalachian Trail. And right before I left for the AT, I came out here, was doing my hikes, but we had had so much rain that the back half of this park was closed due to high water. So one of the main things I want to do out here today is check out the flood situation. I find a new bench, and it says CTMN 2019, and what's really awesome about it is that it's right at the top of this steep ascent, or it's about to be a descent for me. But I'm always huffing and puffing when I get up here, and sometimes it'd be nice to sit down. Well, look at there. Now I've got me a bench. Good job. Okay, this is another bench. It is about halfway up this ascent, and that's a nice one too, but I can't let that tempt me when I'm headed up this thing. Well, right before I left for the AT, this was underwater where I am standing right here. This was all underwater here, so much better. I'm not sure yet what that is. I think it's just a black snake. Well, it's got a pattern. I don't know what it is. It's not a rattler, so it doesn't look like a venomous. There he goes. Okay, I got 2 cups of water that I'm boiling here. So while I'm waiting on that, those mushrooms that I dehydrated, I needed to chop them up a lot smaller because it took 10.5 hours and not all of them were still done, the bigger pieces. And same with the red bell pepper, need to be chopped up a little bit more. They were close to being done. But I went ahead and stopped it at 10.5 hours, and I've kept it in the refrigerator, but I know what I need to do in the future. But this is half of what I made. I divided everything in half to make 2 different meals out of it. Okay, my water is boiling. I just need to get it poured into my bag just above the food. Not much. Give it a good stir. If I can get the spoon. All right, put it in the cozy. And I'm going to leave that for 15 minutes. Okay, so while I'm waiting on this to rehydrate, let me just give you a quick update on my brother. Y'all know from my last video, he went into the hospital, and the reason for that was because he had a blood clot in one of his lungs. And so they were wanting to monitor him for several days while they had him on blood thinner medication. So he's been back home for several days now, and he's on that medication. He's doing well. Okay, it's been 15 minutes, and yeah, not much leftover liquid. I think it looks pretty good. Let's check it out. Stir it up a little more. All right, let's try this. Get a mushroom there. Not bad. Not bad at all. It's really got good flavor. One of the things I did, I learned when I did my spaghetti, I had made the spaghetti with sauce and everything, and dehydrated it. And then I added water just above, the food line, and just to cover it. And but it was very liquidy still and didn't have much flavor. It was watered down. Well, what I did with this was, everything except the red bell pepper had been already cooked, seasoned, and cooked. I had to do that. So it all had flavor. But one thing I did was, after I got it all dehydrated and in the bag, I added like half teaspoon or teaspoon of the different spices I had used, so that when I poured in the water, if there was any juice left over, any water left over, it would be flavored. So whatever, it worked. That's some good stuff. Well, I decided once I got at the top of this incline that this bench needed to be tested by a fat guy. So far, so good. But I just ran into one of my subscribers. I've never randomly run into one of my subscribers anywhere, and he's local, and we graduated from the same high school just a year apart. So it was good to meet you, James.
What's the matter, Matt?
I'm good. I'm good. Hold this thing.
We're dragon sitting.
So that's Lindsay's.
Wow. I know. You can tell when it's mad because its face will turn black.
You're not holding it. Hold
Nope.
Put your hand on it.
You can get them off now.
Good Sunday morning. Well, let's go get on the scale. Okay, 392.2. Now, I have some weight loss goals I want to tell you about. I want to tell you about the first one. I want to weigh 360 pounds by September 1st, Sunday, September 1st. That's Labor Day weekend, and I will be starting school right about that time. So it'd be nice to get down to 360, and I have 7 weeks to do that. So guys, it's been a great week. I hope you had a great week as well. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next week.